Hey guys, Azzapp here and welcome to my Vel'Koz support guide. In this video I'll try to explain my specific playstyle of Vel'Koz. I've been using this particular playstyle of Vel'Koz since Season 4 on support, and I think not many people are aware of it. It's only slightly starting to catch on right now. I checked with a lot of other Vel'Koz mains and they seem to have different opinions on how to play Vel'Koz support. So I'll just try to do my best and present to you my playstyle and why it works. Let's start with the runes, if you guys are just here for this, so you don't have to wait too much. Yes, we will be building Twin Shadows, but no, we will not be going Glacial Augment. Biggest reason for that is that Glacial Augment has a very slow early game, and Vel'Koz support needs to do well in early. So we take the strongest possible early game runes, which are sorcery. There is a variation you can do here, and actually play Dark Harvest, which I will go into a bit later, but I think it's suboptimal after the nerfs. Okay, this is the basic layout for Vel'Koz support. Here there are 3 runes that must be taken and 3 runes that are variable. If you want to play this playstyle, you must take these 3 runes, which are Comet, obviously, Mana Flow Band, and Relentless Hunter. Those are the 3 that we absolutely need to take. Why Comet? It's actually obvious. Mana Flow Band is because we are not building any mana items in this entire build. This will help out throughout the entire game, and it is paramount that we stack it as soon as possible. Getting all the Mana Flow Band stacks around 6 minutes is really good. And Relentless Hunter is because we spend most of our time out of combat and the movement speed is the most valuable resource on Vel'Koz. You will see later how all this synergizes with the build and the playstyle. Next, this one is probably the toughest choice here. We have options of Transcendence and Absolute Focus. After Absolute Focus got nerfed, it's not sure which one is easily better, so you can pick and choose whichever one you like, whichever one depends on your playstyle. An easy way to look at the difference between them and why you should choose one over the other is Transcendence gives you extended damage in a fight and more abilities, while Absolute Focus gives you more burst on your first initial engage. So if you're looking to team fight effectively and have more damage throughout a long team fight, Transcendence will be better. If you want to go roam fast, try to kill one guy, then go recoil, go back, rotate to another lane, Absolute Focus is the one for you. And I believe Absolute Focus works better in the playstyle we're trying to achieve here. Next, this one you can do whichever one you like. Gathering Storm is the most solid one, and I suggest you should take this one, because it basically works in any game, no matter the setting, unless you lose it within 10 minutes somehow. Water Walking is really good if you want to roam through the river, but I'm not quite sure if they fixed the movement speed bug that was within it. And Scorch, after the nerfs, I rarely take it. It only works for about first 10 minutes of the game. It will provide you with some extra dominance in lane. There is probably a use for it if a matchup demands it, but this one gets heavily outscaled by Gathering Storm after 10 minutes. Okay, secondary we go into Domination, and I generally take Eyeball Collection. It is by far the best rune if you manage to stack it up. Some people take Cheap Shot, but after the nerfs I find Cheap Shot to be completely useless early game. It deals nothing. You can quite easily proc it by landing Q then following it up with an auto attack or Q then combo. But I believe the damage amount is just so minuscule that Riot seriously needs to buff Cheap Shot, then we can talk about it. One safer option is you can go Taste of Blood within a heavy poke matchup in bot lane which you are just looking to survive. If you're looking to control the map a little bit more, you can still go Ghost Spore or Zombie Ward. But I just generally prefer Eyeball Collection, because we do have access to a lot of wards in this playstyle, and we do take care of vision very cleanly. I pretty much always take double Adaptive Force in bot lane, because we want to increase that early game strength. Vel'Koz scalings are pretty damn decent. And third one is the defensive one, which you take Armor most likely, because it's bot lane. Sometimes they have like a heavy magic damage comp, you can actually go MR. Okay, that takes care of the runes. I will show you now the second playstyle of runes you can go, which is the Dark Harvest support. I think this one is weaker, just because Dark Harvest got so hard nerfed right now. Your early game is pretty much non-existent with Dark Harvest, you will just be basically stacking it for late game. There is a potential that it can outscale the Comet, and it can be better late game in some cases, but you are wasting a lot of early game pressure. It uses pretty much same build, same logic. Here I've prepared an item build cheat sheet you guys are gonna use if you want to try this playstyle. If you stick to this strictly, I guarantee you guys are going to improve. I believe this build is most gold efficient out of all for Vel'Koz support. Every game you will obviously start with a Spell Thief's Edge and double potions. There is one strategy you can pull off here that will go for more vision control dominant early game. I used to do it quite a lot back in the day. You would start with Spell Thief Edge and 1 potion only. Try to get 3 hits onto someone. That will give you extra 33 gold. Which will be enough for you to buy a pink, and you will start with only 1 potion and a pink essentially. That works in matchups where you will be pushing quite a lot. Like, let's say you have a Tristana on your side, you know you'll be almost all the time under opponent turret, so having that extra pink ward that will last forever in the river is going to give you tremendous pressure in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the game. But it's very situational. Okay, now we go into the most essential items, which usually you get on your first or second recall. Dark Seal is the most gold efficient item in the game, and you will pretty much want to get it in 99% of your games. Now, the only big question that remains is when exactly you want to get it. If you're playing a slow lane in which you only want to kind of farm for late game, you can't quite kill them, you have a feeling that you will not kill them within the next 5 minutes, your first item should be on the recall is Frostfang, which will be 450 gold. So if you do a first recall with about 500 gold, and you just want to farm, scale, invest in Frostfang, it's gonna benefit you the most because you will have increased gold from hitting opponents. If you buy this item early game, by the time you're late game, it will have racked up from about 1000 to 2000 gold on itself. The absolutely perfect recall for support is about 900 gold, where you can buy Dark Seal and Frostfang, which is 800 gold plus you do consumables for extra 100. And let's say you recall on a weird timing because you were forced earlier, you have about 700 gold, you can only get quite one of these big items. You go with Boots and Dark Seal at the same time, then consumable. And to get Dark Seal alone on your first recall is if opponents have no flushes, if you have a feeling that you will kill them within the next like 5 minutes. If you do buy Dark Seal on your first recall, it can be worth if you get enough stacks on it. Okay, now we get into the core of the build. After you have all of these items, on the next recall, you should invest your 600 gold into Moby Boots. You will see later on during the gameplay stage how efficient this item can actually be. I've seen almost no Vel'Koz players that actually do this strategy. They usually invest in sorcery boots, which are 200 gold more expensive, and they're only about 75% efficient on Vel'Koz because roughly 25% of his damage is true damage, which it doesn't impact at all. After that, in about 90% of your games, you will want to rush Twin Shadows. The other 10% games are where you're super behind and you just can't play the game at all without getting blown up or one-shot, so you kind of want to invest into maybe Zhonya's or Banshees. Twin Shadows is an incredibly cheap item that gives you all the stats that you need. It gets you CDR, movement speed, ability power, and it gives you a lot more map control and ganking potential. You will see how we utilize this later on. Once you have mobility boots and Twin Shadows, you're no longer bot laner. You will be playing an entire map. And you want to be getting Oracle Lens at this point, because it's all about the vision control. Now, a lot of you are probably confused right now, because you guys don't see Luden's Echo anywhere, and it's suggested as your build, and most of Vel'Koz supports I've seen, they actually do rush Luden's Echo. And I'll try to explain it why you shouldn't do it. Okay, here's the item. One of the biggest reasons you don't want to be taking this item on your Vel'Koz support is because it's very expensive. It does seemingly give you all the stats that you want on Vel'Koz, but it's super expensive and some of them we don't utilize fully. By the time you as a support collect 3.2k to build this item, which has a relatively difficult build path, the game will probably be already decided. Like, your team will either be hard winning or hard losing by that point. And it only really gives you team fighting power, extended damage because of the CDR and mana. That is something we're not aiming to achieve with this build, so we toss it out. Core of this playstyle is to get short bursts of fights. Very quick fights. After killing a bot turret, let's say you recall, you immediately rush top lane, you will be there in about 15 seconds. You gank with the Twin Shadows, try to kill him, get a turret, recall, or either run through river to mid lane, rotate, or get more vision control in the opponent jungle. Playing this playstyle is almost like playing a first-person shooter game. You should never be off your guard. You will always need to be moving. You need to be moving all the time and be as efficient as possible. Here are some optional items. They kind of speak for themselves. I'm pretty sure you guys know when to build them. I see a lot of people confused about the difference between Morello and Landry's overall, so let's talk about that a little bit. These items give us seemingly same stats, plus 5 AP on Landry's, but Morello gives you 15 magic penetration. And that's why a lot of people think, oh, Morello gives you more damage. For Vel'Koz, that's not true. We've already talked about magic penetration being only 75% efficient on Vel'Koz. That is why Landry, with its own passive, synergizes way better with Vel'Koz and gives you way more damage. The only downside to Landry is the 10% bonus damage does not work with true damage. If that were the case, this item would be completely broken on Vel'Koz, even you would probably rush it first. For movement impaired units, you can deal 7.5% of their max health with just one ability. And you can enable this by proccing Twin Shadows or your Q or your E, Even ulti works because it does impair movement speed only slightly. So this item synergizes perfectly with Vel'Koz. So the key difference where you want to get one of these items is, you take Morello when you want to deny healing, specifically. When opponents have Soraka, Vladimir, stuff like that, Echo, you want to deny healing, you get Morellos. When you want more damage, more punch, you go for Line Restorement. It's simple as that. That kept extremely expensive, extremely good. You would think that it doesn't have use for support, but trust me, if you go to late game, this item can save your game. If you go to late game, collect enough money, this item can solo carry the game when that support with 700 AP starts kicking in. Yes, this is Rylai's over here in the optionals. There's an ongoing debate between Vel'Koz mains, is Rylai's useful on Vel'Koz, and some of them think it's like this dog shit item that doesn't work at all. A lot of people seem to think that Rylai's is completely useless on Vel'Koz because of the slow. Slows don't stack, and the slow can only be procced by your W. Every other of your abilities will supersede the slow of Rylai's. The thing is, we're not buying this item at all for its passive. The passive is pretty negligible at this point. Supports synergize really well with cheap items. They want easy paths to build them, and Rylai's has one of the easiest build paths ever, which works really well with low income you have on your support. The other reason is stats. This item gives you very gold efficient stats. You get 90 ability power and 300 health for only 2.6k. Now, you will not always be building this item, of course. After the last item reworks, there are so many items that synergize so well with Vel'Koz. So this item you will only get if you really require these stats quickly, and it will be useful in about 1 or 2% of your games, but it's still a viable option to build. Now, these are the best movement speed items you can get. Now, we already said that movement speed is the most crucial element to this playstyle. And getting these items is really good. Although you gotta be careful with Magi's, not to drop the movement speed. You will always want to have 10 stacks or above. So if you're playing against a comp that can easily kill you, that can easily delete you, you don't want to be going Magi's. Okay, now we're gonna go into some core gameplay styles, and I will try to show you why this one is actually specific. Okay, if you go into your stats tab and go to support, you can open this little menu where you can compare all the different stats. I will try to show you why this build is kind of special here. As you can see, in the last 25 games, I have only 36% win rate, which is Season 9 high elo is kinda scuffed at the moment. Most of the games are coin flips, and I will still show you that this build works. Even with this really bad win rate, I will still have pretty good stats. And if you have these stats across 100 games plus, I will guarantee you your win rate is gonna be awesome. This also ties into what's the biggest difference between elos. Here's the biggest difference I've seen. If you compare it to iron players, you will see the stats are pretty damn similar. If you up it to bronze, it goes slightly up. Gold, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster, challenger. What's the difference? Is iron equal challenger? There's no difference between these players. Everyone has seemingly same stats. So you in iron can actually have the same stats as challenger. Weird. All the stats you're seeing here actually tie into role you're playing and the opponents you're playing against. So roughly every elo will have the same stats. So what's the bloody difference between elos, man? Why are we not seeing a difference here between elos? I'll show you the biggest difference that I found between elos, and this is the difference that I'm trying to increase as much as possible to be a better player. If you go into this little stat here, which is map control, you will see the actually linear difference between elos. Objective control ratio, vision score per hour, this is a big one, and roam dominance score, this is also a big one. Since our playstyle is mostly about roaming, we want to have as much as objective control, as much as vision score, and as much as roam dominance. Those are the best ways to ensure a victory. Vision score and roam dominance score are the only stats that I've found that linearly improve over the elos. If we go from iron to bronze, we already see increased vision score and dominance score. Silver, linear increase. Gold, increased. Platinum, diamond, master, grandmaster, challenger. All these stats improve slightly over every elo. So if you want to be a better player, if you want to have better win rate, if you want to be a bigger elo, if you want to be in better elo, this is what you want to improve. Vision score as support, roam dominance score. And actually those are the two stats that this build and playstyle focuses the most on. Most of people when play Vel'Koz support, they're playing just another mage. They're using like a Lux bot lane. They're just playing to deal damage. They're just playing to be another carry. That does play a role, but only partially. Your still biggest role is to control the map as a support. Dealing damage is fine. As you can see in my games, I almost always have most damage on support, but you will see that I almost always have best vision score as well. And that is what supporting is all about. Providing more opportunities from your team by controlling the map and roaming everywhere. Now I'll show you some footage of Vel'Koz support, and I'll show you some specific strategies that I'm using when I play Vel'Koz support. And if you guys are enjoying this content, hit like and subscribe and click the notification bell, because subscriptions don't mean anything anymore. If you guys have Twitch Primes, they help out quite a lot. Anyway, any type of support is greatly appreciated. Helps me so much. I can do this every single day. Thank you guys for watching, and let's go into some gameplay. Okay, here I am with my good-looking brother over there. Now I'll try to show you the core of this gameplay, what we're trying to achieve with this gameplay. Because we wanna stack mana flow band as soon as possible early game. I pretty much always go into river and try to fish for some mana flow band stacks. There are different ways to do it. In this one I actually get interrupted, but we still get mana flow band, so it's worth it. What the fuck? See, that's what it's all about. We get that extra hit, we get a mana flow band stack, and that helps us get that mana regen faster, because this build does not build mana at all, and we might struggle with it a little bit. Okay, next we want to talk about positioning in Vel'Koz support. Absolutely optimal way to position when you're playing Vel'Koz support is to spread out, is to attack from two different angles. That way, when opponents go to farm, they immediately have a lot of threat on them. If they try to get closer from one side, your AD carry can go in for the auto attacks. If they come from the other side, they're open to your Qs. And that also helps us with baiting, because even if you shoot Qs, we'll be reactivating them right after the wave, trying to bait them into our teammates. As you can see, I'm always trying to separate myself from my Draven. We don't want to be on the same place. We don't want to be on the same place here. We want to attack from two different angles. That is why Vel'Koz support gets kinda countered by Ezreal, who can shoot you if you're out of the wave, or Pyke. They're the biggest counters for you at the moment. Also, that brings me to our pick and ban phase. After Rakan's nerf, there's only one ban that you have to take care of, which counters you heavily. It's Pyke. All you gotta do is ban Pyke at the start of your games and you're good. You see me recall here, and I have 1.2k. So what items are we gonna get? Obviously we get Frostfang, Darkseal boots. Those are the absolute core, and a pink. Absolutely core items. When you're in lane, you always want to be probing with your Qs to sides, which are enabling your teammates to get extra auto attacks like right now. This starts off a really nice fight for us. Fight is pretty close. It was pretty tough to land it, but it actually ends up working for us. Even if it didn't, that was really good advantage. By hell yeah. Maybe we can. Okay, next recall, we got a good play, we got a lot of money, we get into Mobies. Now we're quite elusive and very mobile, and we're working on Twin Shadows. Okay, see how I'm spreading away from Draven, trying to get some extra auto attacks. Like, it's a lose-lose for opponents if you position correctly. If you position correctly, opponents either get hit by your Q or by yourself, auto attacks, and your teammates. So they will always get punished in a way. You can see my movement speed is 481 out of combat already, like 11 minutes into the game. It's so easy to land your combos like that. And you're very versatile, you can change your angles very quickly because of the movement speed. And the better your positioning is, the less skill shots you need to hit, basically. By positioning perfectly, you make very difficult skill shots into an easy ones. The ideal timing for Vel'Koz to roam and get out of the bot lane is when you have Twin Shadows and Mobies at the same time. Some games you will get out earlier, so just make sure you have at least Mobies for that. You don't want to roam unless you have Mobies, because then you're very inefficient. In this game, I just got enough for Twin Shadows. We buy extra pinks and we want to run it down. There's no waiting around. Utilize that 500 movement speed, run it down mid, try to be on the entire map at once. Here's where most people forget that I'm running barrier actually. When you're playing support, no one expects you to run barrier, and I've been running barrier since season 4 basically, and I've been getting flamed ever since season 4 into season 9 for barrier, because a lot of people don't understand. In my opinion, it's by far the most efficient summoner spell for Vel'Koz, and here's what it provides you. If you're gonna run its counterparts, let's say Ignite, I see most people running Ignite, you're almost never in range for Ignite. If you're playing a correct playstyle, you will not be in range for Ignite. Same goes for Exhaust, and it's very rarely efficient, because you're not in the thick of it. Barrier enables you to play way more aggressive than usual, and you kinda You play more aggressive, you play on the knife's edge, perfect positioning, trying to get opponents to focus you. If they focus you, it's a lose-lose situation, because you still have your AD carry to punish them, while they're focusing a mere support who can absorb quite a lot of damage. And if you use your combo, it doesn't matter if you die later on, because then your team is gonna clean up. I think barrier is just so good. There's also an option you can go heal if your AD carry is willing to go barrier, so you can kind of swap it around. Here me and Draven kind of get some good trades in a 2v4 situation. The barrier absorbs a lot of damage.
So fucking lucky, I swear.
I'm pretty healthy. I know I can survive this dive if I dodge Zac E. Which still hits me, but I just barely survive it by landing my
That
E.
actually hit me! No way, man.
I land my E and that actually makes me live. Zac is just gonna regen. So, that was a nice play overall. I have 10 Darksteel stacks right now. If you do the math, this item is valuable approximately around 1000 gold. I went Blasting Wand because my next item I am going for Morello's. They have a lot of healing in their comp, and this is one of the cases where Morello supersedes the Landry's. This is specifically my movement speed enabling me to make this play.
Come on, man, I trolled.
I could have got a double kill. I missed my combo.
I
See, you can always master like the champion even more.
My combo was so close.
But I made it 1-for-1 just because of my movement speed. I was there super quickly. I predict that Tryndamere is gonna come in here. We kind of punish him.
Burst him like before he gets ulti off.
He seemingly survives, but I will land the max range. And now, after I get out of combat, you'll see my movement speed kick in. You'll see my movement speed kick in right here after checking that brush or jukes. And there's just no way. No way this guy is gonna get alive. Nice. He's not gonna get out alive.
Right, good job.
And that is what build is all about. Playing on the edge, kiting, poking. Once you see the right opportunity, dish out ghosts and chase. And of course, we just spam sweeper through their jungle, constantly contesting them, making them waste time around you while you get vision. I see a fight is happening in the top lane, and I immediately turn around, I run up there. We want to make a play for the turret. Look at how fast we're able to get control here. We can very quickly get vision control. That Zac was seemingly out. Like, it's a Zac. How do you chase such a champion?
Dude, I'm so good.
Like, this movement speed just enables you to do whatever you want across the map. And we're immediately here, top lane, pressuring the turret. And you'll see me, I'm not wasting my time at all. Even if there are no my teammates on the map, I'm always trying to shoot Qs, trying to zone the opponents, farm raptors, get extra vision in the river. You always want to be doing something in this game. We know our next plays are on mid lane because that turret needs to be cleaned up. So I'm trying to place vision around while zoning the opponents out so they get as less vision as possible. This is my vision, preemptively winning a fight.
He has to engage. Don't abduct me, please. Gragas ulti. No passive, no passive. How the fuck do I get that one? Chain it? Beautiful. That's Baron, that's Baron, that's Baron, that's Baron maybe. That's Baron, no jump.
That was the vision that I set up earlier, enabling us to make this play, because we had all the info we needed. And see, I'm still again clearing, because you don't want to start Baron if the opponents have vision.
Some games, like...
And always while you're clearing, try to check brushes with your Qs on the side. Here I'm just being annoying, trying to zone them out. If I move myself, you will see that we're losing inhibitor due to split push. But it's gonna be worth because we're in that kind of a game. In this game, getting Baron buff will save us actually. We have to give up one inhibitor because of their incredible split push. Now, if you look at this, there's a full upload of this game on YouTube. And if you look at this game, I'm always doing something. My KDA kill participation is really good. I'm always trying to clear vision here. As you can see, I'm always just spamming Twin Shadows, fighting. I'm alone right here. But by using Twin Shadows, they have to respect me and back off. By doing that, I still manage to preserve a little bit of vision and not going into pitch dark. Because if it goes pitch dark, it's over. You're just waiting to get picked off by the opponents by face checking Baron. Most of these fights are actually won before they even begin, if one team can get superior vision. That was not the best ulti, but it doesn't matter. We just use the momentum, run down the opponents. We ignore Kai'Sa on the side. And now we can go into Baron Pit. Okay, in this moment we actually collect Baron buff. We have collected the Baron buff. We have a lot of money. I have basically death cap if I recall, but we can't recall at this point because of the momentum. The momentum is the opponent's side. And they have pure vision control on the Infernal. So what we have to do is use these Twin Shadows, which are gonna show us the way. They kinda help us here. Use the Sweeper on top of your head. Use Twin Shadows, which actually find this Gragas. This gives us a free kill before the fight begins. And now we can collect the dragon as well. Now I know my Riven can't 1v1 Tryndamere, so I just immediately recall and try to help her out.
Oh, we zone this guy off.
We just have to follow him and chase him here. My super fast movement actually enables me to catch him down here. With those max range Qs.
Nah, we didn't get in him sadly.
His only option is to turn around, because he knows my movement.
Avoided the slow. I'm dead though. Oh shit!
And we just burst him before he can even react with the ulti.
Dude! Oh, he's so mad, dude. Holy shit.
So you can see how many kills I was actually involved in this game.
You deal 100,000? Indeed, I do.
This is the power of Vel'Koz, man. It's kill participation, roam dominance, vision score. And obviously the damage dealt in the game.
Zek might get me here.
We're just always trying to kite, always trying to poke. The main thing is just to push the opponent's frontier, to get that extra vision and enable yourself to get some extra picks later on during the game. If you look at it here, I was involved in 32 kills out of 41. That is actually incredible kill participation for solo queue game. At this point we essentially have 2 mid laners and an extra support, because I'm not lacking in the support department. I still have more vision control than the opponent's support. And I deal more damage than the mid laner. This is the reason why Vel'Koz support has incredible impact if done correctly. You can basically play 2 roles.
I'll cut him off, he's gonna jump thinking he's clever.
Look at this movement speed. We're just able to cut off any opponent at any given moment. There's no way to run away.
There we go.
No one is safe.
Can I save him?
You don't always have to like engage at them, poke them, but the constant threat of you being able to do that is gonna do wonders against opponents.
Like Challenger.
That was Grandmaster Challenger Elo EU West game, and you can see the stats right here. And this is why support is so awesome. My comp in this game consists of 5 damage dealers basically, and I still managed to outdamage every single one of them. And now a lot of people are gonna say, oh, but you just steal kills, you play mage bot lane. No, that's not true at all. That by itself is incredible damage dealt, which is reminiscent of an AP mage mid lane carry. But I also provided all that vision, and most of those plays happened because I was there to set them up before, or I was there to initiate them. And that is what you have to do here. And that is what is core of this gameplay. You don't necessarily have to deal huge damage, but you must always control the map. That takes a lot of skill and game knowledge to know where to be, where you can be safely without dying. In 35 minutes against that comp, I died only 5 times. And that was by positioning correctly, and every time I died, it was absolutely worth it for my team. The absolute Vel'Koz perfection and support is when you can play on that edge, where you are maximally efficient without dying. When you're pushing the boundaries the most without dying, when you deal the damage the most without dying, with providing the most vision control with the deep wards without dying. That's how to master Vel'Koz support. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If it helped you, be sure to share it with your friends. That's an offline follow right there. Hey, Xenox, welcome to the stream, man. Forgot to turn off the alert box. I seriously hope this helped. I'll see you guys on the stream and in the next one. Have a good day, everyone. Hey guys, Azzapp here, and Vel'Koz to my support guide.